Hi everyone, today I am going to be recounting my adventures at Yallfest. I'm filming this a little late. Right now it is the end of November, and Yallfest was the second week of November, but you know, it's okay. It's a nice memory to remember, so I'm going to be doing that. Yeah, so I decided that I was going to Yallfest back in September-ish, maybe August. One of my best friends lives in Charleston at the moment for her job, and she was like, we should go to Yallfest together, since you want to come and visit me in November anyway. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Books and best friends, like, what more do you want in life? So one thing that did happen before I went, before all the traveling and all that, so Becky Albertalli posted on Twitter that she had this project that she was hoping that fans would help her do, specifically fans who were going to Yallfest, planning on going to one of her signings either Friday or Saturday of Yallfest, and were LGBTQIA+. And if they were all of those things, then to message her. And, you know, since I did, and I was included in this group message with the other people who had responded, and she was saying that as part of a promotion that Love Simon wanted to do on Instagram during Yallfest, she was going to be taking over and posting photos of fans holding a sign that said some variation of "Everyone deserves a great love story," which I believe is a quote from Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, which is one of my favorite books. I was like, that sounds awesome. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I'm gonna see what I can do. And so what I did was I had a little canvas. It was, I don't think it was 8 by 10. It was smaller than that. But I covered it with scrapbook paper and used puffy paint to write "Everybody deserves a great love story," and it was really cute. Hold on, I'm gonna show it to you. And very early the next morning, I flew over to Greenville, not Charleston, Greenville, and I met up with my friend Rebecca, and then we hung out that day. She had work. She works at a library, so I accompanied her to work, and I just hung out at the library, and I read a bit. Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I'm still reading that. I'm almost done. And then I evaluated the YA section of the library. So that was a lot of fun. It was amusing. And so I did that. And the next morning, we drove over to Charleston, all the while, or part of the while, listening to Taylor Swift's new album, Reputation, which had come out that day. It was amazing. Just listen to it. And so then we got to Charleston, and it was early afternoon, and we met up with my friend Brianna at her apartment, and then shortly thereafter we drove over to downtown to go to the book signings. And so I did bring a bunch of books with me to Charleston. I have this large pile right here. Here we go. These are the books that I brought to Charleston. Amazingly, there were people who had like 5 billion books. They had entire suitcases of books. And which is cool. But I don't understand how, if you're going into the panels, like how you're doing that with the suitcases, because there's not enough room to get them into your aisle. So I had a large bag, so this was a good amount. I didn't have them all with me at any one time. It just depended on which authors I was meeting on that particular day. So the first day I was there, I went to the Becky Albertalli. My books just fell over. See, that's what happens when you have large amounts of books. They fall over. So the first thing that I went to the first thing that I went to was the Becky Albertalli signing, and I have both of her books, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda and The Upside of Unrequited. These are both super cute books. Simon will always have a special place in my heart. It's so amazing, but Upside is very good as well. And I got both of those signed. Hold on, I'm going to show you the insides. So this is super cute. At the top it says Simon Hearts Camille, and then she wrote Love Becky Albertalli, and she did this little doodle. The line for Becky was took a really long time, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, for a line that was not super long, but that was because Becky was talking to every single person, which is so amazing. I think it's really cool when authors do that, and that they spend time with their fans. And then she also had these little cards to put in, and if you haven't read Simon yet and plan to, then I would recommend that you skip over about 5-ish, maybe 10-ish seconds of this. But it has this little doodle of who Simon ends up with, him and Bram, and it's super cute, right? And it was drawn by someone on Tumblr. When I got up there, I was like, I was one of the people that responded to you on Twitter, and I was like, I have the sign, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, thank you for doing this. She was so nice. Honestly, if you get the chance to meet Becky Albertalli, do it. It's so worth it. And she took my photo, and it got posted the next day, and then she posted them all again on her own account on Instagram. So that was amazing. So I'll be including that in here later. And then I also got Upside signed, and that is, if I can find it. Here it is. It's also super cute. I love her handwriting. It's super nice. Little hearts. Yeah, so I was waiting in line with Rebecca for Upside, and then Brianna had gone to meet our friend Ashton, who drove in from North Carolina to also visit with us and come to Yallfest, because she and I have a lot of the same favorite authors, and especially Maggie Stiefvater, which I'm going to get to. And so then they joined us in the line for a bit because they also had books that they wanted to get signed by Becky, but then they realized that, oh, Angie Thomas is right over there in the same building, excuse me, in that other line. And so then they gave us their Becky books. They went over to get The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas signed, which I hear is a really amazing book. And then they got through the line really quickly, and then they came back and joined us. And then we hung out in the line for a while more. And then we met Becky. And I got my photo taken, and then I got a photo with Becky taken, and that was just an amazing experience. And then, day 2, all the panels, all the book signings. So these are the books that I brought with me. So these are the books that I brought with me to get signed. So something happened, and I'm really mad about this because it's just me being absent-minded. Also, I was super tired. So I had pre-ordered Renegades. I had gone through a bunch of hoops to get it picked up from my apartment service center, so that I could bring it with me. Because I was at work at the time, I couldn't get to it and get to work on time. And then on the day, Ashton and I were going to meet Maggie Stiefvater, which was at the same time as Marissa Meyer. We didn't know how long the line was going to be, so originally I had been going to give this over to Brianna because she was going to go and meet Marissa Meyer. To get this signed. I was tired and I forgot. So there was that. But it was okay. I met Maggie Stiefvater. So originally I brought all of these books to get signed. Actually, the first one, The Raven Boys, wasn't originally mine. It was my friend Ashton's, but she had just bought the hardback, so she gave the paperback to me, which is super cool of her. She's an amazing person. So I brought these books to get signed, and then, you know, we've been in a line for several hours. The first hour-ish, the signing hadn't started yet, so we were still doing our thing, just hanging out. And then we're in the line moving for, I don't know, probably not that long, but like felt like a while. I don't remember how long it was, but then we're almost to the tent that she was in, about to turn the corner and to get into it, and then whoever was in charge of her was saying, oh, actually, can only get one book signed. We're trying to get through as many people as possible. And, you know, that was disappointing. But Maggie Stiefvater has health issues. She had dropped out of one of her panels that afternoon in order to get some sleep before going back on the road because she was on her book tour. And so then I had to make the decision of which book to get signed. And ultimately, I decided, because if I'd had The Raven King, I would have gotten that one signed probably, because that one was my favorite in the Raven Cycle series. But I didn't. I'm waiting for the paperback to come out, one, to match all of these, and also because there's going to be a short story in it, in the back. Yeah, there's going to be a short story in it, in the back, and I wanted to have that and not have two copies. So I decided to get all the Crooked Saints signed. I had just finished reading it, like, that past week, I believe. And I also really loved this book. Yeah, I made like a half-hour book review video about it, which was excessive, but that shows how much I really liked this book. And so I decided to get that one signed, and so I love Maggie's autograph. Look at this, it's so cool. Yeah, so it was personalized. It was very nice. She asked me which books of hers that I had read, and I was like, Raven Cycle series, 2 books of the Wolves of Mercy Falls book series, and all the Crooked Saints that I'm bringing to you right now. And then I gave her this key that I had gotten because she was having fans give her keys to decorate her studio wall with, and her goal was to be able to fill the entire wall with keys, so I gave her one. Ashton did as well. And then she asked which one of her books was my favorite, and I was like, all the Crooked Saints and the Raven King. And then I was telling her how much I appreciated having the Raven Cycle set in Virginia. There we go, set in Virginia, because that's where I'm from. That's not something you normally see. Virginia, for whatever reason, isn't a very popular setting for books, and unless it's DC, and DC doesn't count because that's not part of Virginia. And like, I'm near that, but it's not the same. And so I told her that, and it was really cool, and I loved meeting her. I'm gonna put in some photos of that at the end of this video. And so after that, Ashton and I split up. Can't remember where she was going. So first she accompanied me over to the line to Mackenzie Lee, who wrote The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, if I can get it arranged so you can see it. She also had another book called This Monstrous Thing, which was actually her debut novel, but I have not yet read that. So yeah, and I don't own it yet either. So I got in that line, and she was there for a little bit with me, and then she went over to I think she went over to do something else. And So I was in that line for a while. But I ended up finding out that this was like I found this out at like 1:15 or something. They made an announcement. They were like, we're taking all of you in right now, because they had been doing it in sections. They were like, we're taking all of you in right now. Mackenzie was supposed to be at another thing at 1, but she refuses to stop signing until the whole line is gone, because all of you came out to see her, and she knows how important that is. So I met her, and I really appreciated that she did that. That's so sweet, and she seemed like an amazing person when I met her. So I got The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue signed, and that is right here, and it's super cute. Yeah. And I told her how much I loved the book, and I also got these two little buttons. One was yellow, one was blue, kind of like the cover, like the little yellow, the blue. Yeah. And one said, "We hate Richard Peel." So these are my little buttons that I got out of Sip Bloody Lootly and "We Hate Richard Peel." And so after that, I went over to go see the Becky Albertalli and Angie Thomas talk that we had gotten tickets to in advance. It was one of the few talks that you had to get tickets for. So I saw that all of us saw that together, and that was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Angie Thomas and Becky Albertalli were talking about how their movies were going to be made and how they were being adapted to the books, from the books. And then I went to another talk with Ashton and Rebecca, and it was about the LGBTQIA in YA fiction. And Mackenzie Lee was there as well, and because she's bisexual and she writes bisexual gay characters. And finally, after that, Brianna and I went to the Marissa Meyer and Cassandra Clare keynote talk, which was so cool. I have not read any of Cassandra Clare's books. I've been meaning to, I just haven't gotten around to it, and now I really want to read them because she seems like a super cool person. And while I was in the Maggie Stiefvater line, I got this little ticket thing that said that I could get a free YA book at the Yallfest after party the next day from like 2 to 5 or something. And so I did go to that, and this is what I got. It is a dystopian-ish world in which everything you say and any gestures you do that kind of denote communication are copyrighted. So that sounds really interesting. Overall, it was a great Yallfest. It was my first one ever. It was really funny. I met this man, a father to his daughter, who was going all over Yallfest. And he was holding places in line for her, getting books signed for her, and he was really nice. I met him in the Becky Albertalli signing line on Friday, and then I kept running into him all over the place the next day. So that was fun. And I'm excited to go in future years. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I am excited to do future reports on book festivals soon, hopefully.
Turn, and I love when authors have really short titles or chapters, because it emphasizes something.
It does.
Except when, who was it? Woman that wrote Twilight. It was
Stephanie Meyer.
It was in the New Moon, and it was like.
Okay. Do you guys
Can you see what these are?
They're mystery Oreos.
That, I mean, so like, a lot of people think that Angie and I are like polar opposites on Oreos, and it's really not true. Like we, you know, on the classic versus golden issue, yeah, but like we both hate everything like this.
Like Swedish fish Oreos are disastrous?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can agree on
Yeah. Mason, are you in here? Yeah.
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 We love you, but
our
those
friend
Oreos-
Mason gave us Peeps Oreos.
We-
We're still traumatized, and we're about to traumatize ourselves.
Traumatize ourselves in front of you all. Live on stage and
Alright. We've never done this. Oh, girly. Look how much cream there is, and you don't even know what flavor. And they smell fruity.
Oh.
This is already not going well. All right.
It smells like Fruity Pebbles.
It does smell like Fruity Pebbles. Okay.
Oh God, no.
All right, will you guys count us off? Like, go like one,
Yeah,
two,
count us
three?
down, okay?
1, 2, 3.
Why? Like, my question is why? Like, oh my God.
I will bring that up, don't worry. Oh my God.
They're not recommended. Does anybody want these?
She's like, me, you can have them. Please not, please.
It was satisfying to throw them away. We're like, make sure there's water on there before we agree to do this.
Oh God.